I feel the need to do a movie review. Goose, where'd you go? Top Gun, released in 1986 and is directed by Tony Scott, who's also directed such films like Beverly Hills Cop 2, True Romance, Crimson Tide, Man on Fire, and Unstoppable. And this film is starring Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt, and of course, Tom Cruise. Maverick and Goose are a couple of the most reckless fighter pilots in the US Air Force. But my god, they always get the job done. As a surprise to them, they've been accepted to the top naval fighting air pilot school on the planet called Top Gun, where a bunch of hotshot pilots come to learn and show off their stuff. Maverick thinks he's oh so cool and the best pilot around, but he's gonna get a major dose of reality when Mr. Awesome and Mr. Fantastic, known as Iceman, comes around. And so the movie is a big competition between Maverick and Iceman, fighting it out to see who is going to graduate Top Gun at the top of the class. Which you could really take this premise and put it to, like, mathematicians or physicists going to like Yale or Harvard, and you got two people who are just like at the top of their class and the top of their game, and they're just competing back and forth and taking standardized tests, going back and forth to see who would graduate at the top of the class. So in a way, it's almost like an academic movie, except here we have guys with their shirts off all the time, combating each other in their tighty-whities in the sweat room, and fighter pilots and F-14s. So really, not at all like a education academics movie. I don't know where I was going with that. I think what I was trying to say is that the plot of this movie is very, very simple, and it's very, very basic. But this thing had a huge-ass budget because we're pumping in fuel and gas. We're renting all of these F-14 planes from the Air Force and the Navy for this very simple little movie that did amazing at the box office. When this film came out, it was not received typically well critically. The only thing that was really praised about this film were the action scenes, which they definitely still hold up, and of course the charismatic performance of Tom Cruise. It was that period where Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise meant putting on a pair of sunglasses, looking just off to the side of the camera, and just shining that goddamn gorgeous smile at all the ladies. If you're just getting into films, and if you're figuring out that you really love the action genre, Top Gun is like a cornerstone of that genre. Mainly from all the amazing action scenes being done practically. These were all real-life fighter jets, going up and going on missions and then coming back down. Special cameras were built, special rigs were built to appear on the outside of the aircraft, and you're seeing some amazing choreographed dogfights in the air. Real-life dogfights. And it still holds up today. It's really, really cool knowing that this was done in the 80s, and it's just so badass. Now, the directing and the stylized editing behind all of these dogfights, that leaves room for improvement. Mainly from the fact that they had the rights to, like, a handful of songs that they would just play over and over and over again. How many times can we hear the exact same song and the exact same intro, the exact same chorus of the song for every single action sequence? Highway to the danger zone. Every goddamn air fight battle, there was that song playing in the background. All I'm saying is that I just want some variety in the soundtrack of my movies. And by variety, I mean more than just adding one other song to the whole soundtrack list that you're going to play over and over and over again whenever there's a love scene on screen. And I just discovered this today while reviewing it. That song, Take My Breath Away, won Best Song at the Academy Awards. How? Was it to convey that the sex between Tom Cruise and Carey McGillis was just so hot and so intense that it took their breath away? The way that Tom Cruise defies gravities in those sex scenes... Sure, why not? I almost think that those sex scenes and this love story was put in here because as the film was being edited, I think everyone was realizing that, wow, we're kind of making a homoerotic film here. I think it's the biggest, most elaborate, unintentional homoerotic film ever made. You have all of these young hotshots who, by all account, are in really, really good shape, and yet the staging of this movie is placing them in scenes where they are almost entirely naked, they are sweaty, they're glistening in the sun, and they are up close and personal with each other when they're having intense conversations. To the point where if they pursed their lips a little bit, they would be kissing. I want to talk to you, Maverick. And no, I'm not going to wait for you to put your clothes on. I just got out of the shower and I can't take it anymore. You're reckless, and I never want you to be my wingman. How can I be your wingman, Iceman, when you're going to be my wingman? Ha ha! And then came the volleyball scene, which is so iconic for all of the wrong reasons. Volleyball, of course, is a legitimate sport. It's at the Olympics. There's a whole league with it. I'm not downgrading the whole sport in general, but you have 4 upcoming hotshot guys playing volleyball, trying to make themselves look cool, when in fact all it's making them do is seem like they're getting like extra sweaty and hard for each other. Yeah, it's a pickup volleyball game, guys, come on! Like I said, this movie is a cornerstone of the action genre. Going back, looking at it, the action scenes, they definitely hold up, and just watching it, I'm like, oh my god, this film is so ahead of its time. These action scenes are incredible. And you gotta give the action scenes props for allowing us, or at least giving us chances to care as to what's happening, because, you know, it's one thing to watch the screen and go, oh, well, there's a bunch of F-14s on screen dogfighting and shooting at each other. Okay, but the consistent cuts between all of the awesome action sequences and then to the POV shots, or at least the upward angled shots at Tom Cruise and Iceman in the cockpit freaking out. Maverick, where are you? Where's my wingman? It's all very impressive and all commendable. It's just when you get away from all of the action scenes and you get to the basic story here, and you get the forced love scene, and you get to all the unintentional homoerotic tension between all the boys in the locker room, you kind of laugh at it because you're like, this is just ridiculous. Can we return to the fighter jets, please? Let's just do that. I didn't grow up with this movie. I actually saw this movie for the first time about 7-8 years ago, so I have no nostalgia with it. I came into it very late, so my appreciation for it is definitely for the action scenes, but the basic story here, the cheesy music, and all of the machismo, all of the bravado, I just laugh at because it's corny as hell. But I'm gonna give Top Gun 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
Alright guys, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next. We're going to be taking a look at the list from all of my recommendations that I've received on this channel. So, randomly generating. Let's take a look. Bohemian Rhapsody. Was that amazing? It was not amazing. Bohemian Rhapsody, which was nominated for Best Picture a couple of years ago at the Oscars. Maybe 2019? I don't know. 2019 feels like 20 years ago. And it was only last year. But Rami Malek playing the iconic and ever so charismatic Freddie Mercury. I mean, you feel like that impersonating him, portraying him, it couldn't be done, and yet it was in this film, and I think Rami Malek did an amazing job. I haven't watched this since last year, so I remember being kind of lukewarm to it. We'll see if my opinion changes with that, but we'll check it out next time. This was recommended actually from Elena Lauder, who was one of my students, I think about a year ago. I think the last fall semester. So she did well in my class. I think she passed. And I think she's one of the only students to ever give me a recommendation. So thank you, Elena. I appreciate it. So guys, if any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can go ahead and leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. You can leave your recommendation there. If I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout on the channel. And if you really want me to get your recommendation done as quickly as possible and bypass the whole random generator thing, you can leave a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Just select the donate button. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I I will watch it and get my review out and published as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, have you seen Top Gun? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Bohemian Rhapsody. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.